Did you know that over the past year, over 300,000 teachers have resigned from the profession in the United States alone? There's only about 4.1 million teachers in our country. At this rate, the education system will not be able to sustain itself. And in at least 12% of classrooms across the country, they're being taught by teachers who are not certified and have no formal training or certification for what they're actually teaching.
No, I can't believe that. Those numbers
Katie,
are
does it surprise you?
shocking.
Katie, does it surprise you?
This numbers surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that they were losing a lot because we've been talking about that, but the numbers and the sustainability of it is shocking.
I'd like to see what percent that is of teachers, to do the math real quick.
Okay, I'm going to leave that up to you as we introduce ourselves. If you're interested in teaching and you care about having a healthy teacher climate, you are in the right place. Welcome to FLAIR Educators. I'm Angela Stevens, and this is...
I'm Candace Valverde.
Kim Hunter.
And Katie Nelson.
And today we're going to talk about why teachers don't feel supported and what admin and other teachers can do to support each other. So I did a bunch of research on this topic, and I know the data about why teachers who leave say they leave. Let's see how close you can get. What do you think are the top 3 reasons that teachers leave the profession? Katie, what's your number 1 reason?
Lack of support.
Lack of support. Ding, 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 ding. Who?
Go ahead, Kim. What do you think?
Well, I was going to say lack of support. So second, I would say student social emotional learning needs, the behaviors.
Nope.
No.
Didn't make the top 3. Candace?
I think added expectations on the part of the teacher.
Ding, 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 ding. Increased workload. So more encroachment on personal life, more demands in the school, like bigger class sizes, less pay, right? All right, Katie, back to you. Let's see if we can get the 3rd and final reason that teachers leaving the profession say they leave. These are just the top 3, right? Pay? Minute number 4. So close.
Wow, it was close.
I feel like we're playing Family Feud here. We need the X's on the board.
What do they think? Why are teachers leaving the profession?
Well, if it's not pay, we've already talked about the top 2, talked about behaviors, lack of respect.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Yay! Parents
and teachers. I mean, from parents, admin, and students. I think all around teachers are taking the heat from all ends.
I think it's bigger than just in education, though. I think our country does not value what we do, like globally, like doctors, lawyers, and teachers just aren't. I don't feel like we're taken seriously, and the numbers of classes and credentials and master's degrees and all of the things we've had to do, I wish that mattered in the bigger scheme of things.
In fact, Katie, that's what they said. They actually said they weren't being treated like professionals. So right. I'm considering that respect, right?
How many times have you heard someone say, oh, you're a teacher, or hear the comment, oh, they're a teacher because they didn't know what else to do, or they couldn't do anything else. And that's so insulting.
Well, what is it? The old saying, if you can't do it, those who can't teach.
Yeah.
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 That's like the biggest slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's
saying that's not true.
Yeah, but it's harder to teach someone how to do something that you know how to do really well. Isn't it?
I think that comes back to like finance and pay and capitalism. And they're thinking, well, society values money. So if we value money and you know how to make money, why aren't you out making money? And teaching, you're not making money. So to me, that statement just simply says if you value money.
And also, well, you chose the career. You knew teaching didn't pay a lot, and that's what you chose to do. So what are you complaining about? I've actually heard that.
Ah,
So why would she pay you more? You know what you're getting into if you go into that profession. And so that
Or
martyrism is just, it's exhausting.
Mhm.
or you have a summers off, you get paid for summers. No, we don't. No, we don't.
I wish people had any idea that lessons have to be planned at home after school and grading has to happen at home after school.
Yeah, because when students are there, you're teaching. That's the
What a
part.
novel idea.
Work on paperwork. Well, you have your lunch period. Well, no, I'm
That's
like
lunch.
and you're supposed to eat. Do you get to, I don't know. It's so different than any office setting or other business that I've ever worked or been a part of. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, is there other, like, how many other professions are you just expected to use that break or lunch time to do your duties and not actually take a break or lunch?
You
I
better
wonder.
make sure your digestive system is working properly, because there's only a 4-minute passing period for us at school, and then the lunch break, and 4 minutes isn't long enough to go walk across the quad. Students or other teachers stop you to use the restroom or get a drink of water or go get your lunch out of the staff room. I mean, it's
When I graduated from college, and I don't know if this is still true, teachers had one of the earliest death rates of any profession, and they were dying of bladder and colon cancer specifically from having to hold it.
Yes. I
I
had,
don't know if it's still true, but that doesn't surprise me in the least.
no, I
Yeah.
had
That's the same.
kidney stones a couple of years ago, and I was like, but how? I don't drink soda. I don't, like, I eat healthy, but that's what the doctor said. Well, you're a teacher.
that explains it.
Right?
There you
So
go.
what let's go back to number one, because that's the one I want to talk about today. I was so surprised. We made a video about it. You probably caught that, about they didn't just say that they were leaving because of supportive admin. They also said they were leaving because of lack of support from other teachers. So I think that's a little bit the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I think we know why people don't feel supported by admin, and we know a little bit that it's principal roulette, right? It just depends. You got a good one, hold on to them. But why are teachers right now feeling so unsupported by other teachers?
I don't know. I feel like some teachers treat it as a competition where, like, they feel like they have to be the best, and in order to be the best, I need to make everybody else look worse. I don't know. I mean, some teachers are like that, and that's really, it wears us down.
I agree with you, Candace, that a lot of teachers see it as competition, especially like on our campus. We have a lot of teachers who are not tenured. And so there is competition
And in that case,
to do good, and improve your test scores. I think a lot of it goes back to, I think, FLAIR educators and our whole premise that we all have different personalities and different teaching styles. And if you're not like me, then you can't be good, right? And not understanding and valuing the different, just the different styles of teaching.
I think the unknown is scary. When someone doesn't do things the way that you would, or you have this really idea, and if I share it, they're going to steal it from me. And I was always I mean, I'm a 3rd generation teacher now, and it's a mindset of, when people steal stuff, it's kind of like the biggest compliment, because that means it's working. But I think the term of even stealing your ideas, like that term stealing, it needs to be sharing and collaborating.
You're collaborating.
When I first started teaching, it was, close your door and do your thing and teach on an island, and it doesn't work. We've all tried it and done it. And when you have a team that you can collaborate with, I mean, case in point, what we're doing right now, this happening, this 4 of us and all the people that will view and comment and give their feedback, that's how change happens. That's how things improve. If it was just me on my little island, I wouldn't grow. I would stay on my little island. And I don't think humans in general are supposed to be on an island. I think that's something we're figuring out after the last few years. But supportive other teachers, if you don't feel like you can be yourself and let your guard down with your colleagues, I think that it leads to burnout, because if you're always trying to be put together and you have all your stuff together and you have, like, people need to know that, hey, I'm human and I might have dropped the ball on something, but own that you made a mistake. And we try to tell our students, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay. And yet, as educators telling them that, I think a lot of people I've worked with over the years are very hypocritical of, well, but I didn't make a mistake. I think that owning our humanity and being vulnerable with each other is a necessity. And I just don't know if all the styles are ready for that.
Well, I feel like the pressures that we get from people who are not in our profession play a role in that.
Oh, totally. I would agree with
We're
that.
trying to prove ourselves constantly. And in doing that, like, that kind of leads into who we are on our campuses as well. And it's just like all the time.
I feel like even when I really try to have an open heart and be really, like, to me, I really believe in giving grace. Like, I think it's really important to remember that I'm super flawed and that everyone is flawed. And so it's okay when they screw up, and I try to give them grace. But what I think it can be difficult is when people are so overburdened and so tired that good people who normally have lots of room for grace, they're drowning themselves. And so then when people come and complain, or they point out the negativity on campus or something, it can become overwhelming, because there are definitely, since the pandemic, things that are so much heavier and harder to carry, that I can see how your colleague being your friend even can sometimes feel heavy, just because maybe they want to tell you all their burdens, but they don't have the space to hear yours. And that, I think, can be really hard when you have a colleague that just wants to tell you everything that's wrong with them and everything that's wrong with their life and everything that's wrong in their world and with their students, but then there's, like, not reciprocity. I feel like that makes me very tired. Like,
you talking about that,
my energy good, yeah.
segueing is the bucket fillers, bucket dippers thing, the whole concept of I'm trying to surround myself with that. But when you said that, Angie, I just had this, like, oh, this was me in April.
I was just going to say, at the end of our school year,
That was me, because
everybody's worn out and lean on patience. And I noticed not just teachers, but people in all sorts of different positions, just not giving grace, not being kind, being judgmental. And, that goes back to, we need to take our self-care. We need to take a step back when we start feeling that way. We talk so much about, the social and emotional learning and taking care of our students, but we're the ones who deliver the end product to our students. And if we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not given the support we need, then the quality of the instruction and support that our kids are going to get is going to be compromised.
that was literally almost verbatim what I was going to say. That's spot on. We're so focused on our students' social emotional and making sure their families are taken care of and making sure they have food and making sure everything's met, that by the time we take a chance to do that self-care for ourselves, I did it myself this year. So as I was listening to you talk, I was like, oh my gosh, that's true. It's looking in the mirror going, oh yeah, I did that. I crashed. I was burned out. I was tired. and none of us are at our best when we're just trying to carry everything. I wanted to say ding, 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 but that was a reference back to
Back to Family
well,
Feud, right?
well put, Kim.
It's so interesting because both Kim and I were having a really rough day one day when we're like, let's just collaborate. Let's just put our classes together and see what happens. Let's just try some novelty. Like we had so much fun. And then we were like on this high and all of our colleagues were kind of crashing. And
Right.
just that one change of having each other and getting to look forward to that. And our kids were looking forward to it. And we had each other's energy and we got to learn from each other. And it was fun for us and it was new. And we just had this great experience together. And it was like, oh, this is what support looks like. Like on a day or a week when you're crashing, you can have your friend's class over and together you can teach a great lesson together. And literally be like you were saying, be around someone whose glass is half full or who wants to fill you up and you want to fill them up. And what an amazing thing it was just to have. And the kids were so excited. We had to be excited. Like it was
Sure,
so
we did it. Yeah, we collaborated like that 2 days in a row. And the third day, the class was like, Miss Henner, are we going to go over to the other class? It was Stephen's class today. And they were so excited, but we did help lift each other up. We had 60 kids in there engaged in learning from each other, building relationships, and a lot of this feeling overworked or overtired or overburdened, making us lose our patience. We're not our normal happy selves. It affects our students. They see it, they feel it, and it's that overburdensome feeling that is overwhelming staff and really taking over and compromising school culture. It really is, for the students, I think, and the staff. And I haven't really ever collaborated like that, Angie, much. When I think of collaborating with other teachers, I think, before school, after school, or on prep, or at a staff meeting, we're working together, building lessons, looking at data,
Right.
writing curriculum. But that's a whole nother level of collaboration, is going into each other's classrooms and working and teaching together.
And it was so fun. Like, so a couple ideas that teachers can support each other is if you have a friend that's just completely crashing and they're not making it because their life really rough, you can literally combine your classes and teach together and have an objective. And it's amazing. And also one of the things that was fun is that Kim had some of my students before, but she had a fresh approach with them. And some of the kids that maybe she was a little tired of, I got to have my turn to build a relationship. So I had like this kind of, fresh new energy for them. And I thought that was really good.
It was. And the kids were so excited, the ones that I recognized. They'd been in my class 2 years ago when we were teaching virtually and on Zoom. And I still remembered them and remembered their names. And it just, it really made a big difference to them.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like, oh. Okay, so do we want to kind of leave with, I think it's easy to know why teachers aren't supported by other teachers. We want to leave with like our top reasons about how to support teachers, or what do you think? Candace, I feel like you have a thought and I want to make room for that.
I think that, having somebody who understands who you are in your classroom and can really build you up. I know that like in my many years of experience, finding that person who is going to be like your biggest cheerleader on all your rough days or on your good days, and that they're going to be there for you and that they believe in you, that makes a world of difference.
And we can be that. So if you need us to be that, please leave comments, let us know. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have someone on your campus like that, then reach out to us.
Yeah.
We'll cheer you on.
That's why we are all here, is knowing how important that is, because not all of us have it in our day-to-day, but when you don't have that, you seek it and you find it. So yes, comment, send us a message. We're there for you.
When
Yeah.
school starts, we're thinking about doing like a once a month teacher meet and greet where we all pump each other up. If that is something that you would be interested in as a teacher or a student, to just come to a positive place once a month and get pumped up, tell us in the comments. And if there's enough comments, we'll definitely do it.
Mhm. Oh yeah, for sure.
I'd
So
love to hear other teachers' stories and their ideas. I think checking in with each other is so important. So important to take a minute or two to check in with one of your co-teachers.
and there's how many teachers in America?
4.1 million.
4.1 million.
And I'll bet
That's a
you,
lot of cheerleaders.
and I bet you a lot of them at some point this last year felt like they were alone,
Oh yeah.
if not
It's
all of
easy
them.
to feel that way.
Yeah,
So if there's 4.1 million of us, we definitely are not alone. We're here to support each other.
And we understand.
and I think as
On so many levels.
teachers teaching in middle school and high school, I think collaborate less than your elementary school teachers. A lot of them, as the kids get older and the grade level gets higher, teach in isolation, and that's not a good place for any of us to be.
Yeah. I don't know. I've only taught elementary 1 year, but I had a great team that I worked with. So I don't know. Let us know if that's accurate. Let us know how you are down in elementary.
We have two things. We said collaborate and novelty, bring novelty. If you're starting to feel not supported, I highly recommend bringing in guest speakers, trying new technology with the kids, letting the kids create games for what you're learning. You know, that can be really empowering when you're starting to feel very unsupported by other teachers. Let the kids be your support system. It's amazing how often when you say to them, like, I'm having a hard time teaching, and did you know 300,000 teachers have left? When I told my students that, they were like, how do we support you? We love you guys, you know, like.
Yeah, mine too, Angie. They got upset. They took it personal. What? Teachers are quitting us? Like and I had one just at summer camp say he heard me talking to another teacher and he goes, "Why? Because of student behaviors." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like it's they see and they do care, but it brought on a lot of empathy and understanding.
Well, they see those behaviors too. They see that that's different.
Yeah. Yeah. How many of our students say, I would never be a teacher, miss what you do? There's not enough money for what you do. Like they say that all the time, or you're too kind, or why do you, why do you still like so-and-so when they do this, and this,
You know, I'd like to add something to that too, even at the preschool level. I've been working with my sister actually doing some preschool curriculum this summer. And there's this, because I've been in this field for so many years, that I can look at a plan and go, no, I want this piece and this piece and this piece, and put my own flair on it and present it. And I think so often in those conversations with her, I've realized that newer teachers with new content, new grade level, new whatever, this is the curriculum, I have to follow it line by line by line by line, but they get to this one spot and it's an activity that sounds really awful and really hard and I don't want to do it, but I could totally teach it doing this activity, but not that activity. And the freedom to go, hey, if you are nervous about the activity and you don't think it's going to be fun because you're not crafty and they want you to craft something, change it, do something different. And I think that the freedom of that voice and just giving teachers permission to bring their own flair to the classroom and not just follow it because the curriculum says so, that yes, that's there, but it needs to be followed as a guideline. But if there's specific things that you personally want to teach differently and add your own flair to it, do it. And that for me, like just talking about it got me excited. Like that for me is like, oh, you don't like doing arts and crafts? Then don't. Go, this is with a 3-year-old, but don't go out and build something. And it was like this, and then it was this amazing several days of lessons of, oh my gosh, we're both so engaged. Well, yeah, because you're having fun. So I think if we're burned out, no matter if it's our first year or our 25th year or our 31st year, that when we're tired and we're burned out and we don't feel supported, that we go back to, not just novelty with another person, but do something you enjoy. And sometimes that's
Right.
really hard to find, but even if it's a 5-minute dance break, that's what I do in my classroom, and I can't dance. So it's a great riot for everyone. But it's, you know what, everybody's feeling, well, I think we need a dance break, and I'll turn on some music for 5 minutes. And just that, there we go, there we go, there we go. Like just that bit just settles everybody like, okay, we're good. It's not a change your day for 6 hours. It's not a, oh my gosh, that was the worst 10 minutes. So my whole day's rotten. That pivot of, I'm not feeling this, so I can change this. I'm not feeling this, so I can change that. Because we're the person that's in charge of the morale in our classroom. And if our classroom morale is low, we need to look at why and change up. So dance break.
I want to piggyback on you and just say I couldn't agree with you more that as the school year ended and winded down, part of changing things up was Angie and I collaborating, bringing our classes together. But this year I really challenged myself when things weren't working, tried different approaches, different ways of presenting, you know, the curriculum, and coming out of my comfort zone and thankfully, and I want to say thank you to all the administrators who are not micromanagers. I thank you so much for giving us that freedom to
And for
find.
trusting us as professionals, not giving us the freedom, but for trusting us. Sorry to cut you off, Kim, but that was apparently a trigger for me. Just trust us that we know what we're doing. Yes, we want feedback, but don't micromanage and let us be the professionals we are. Carry on.
Perfect. No, that's great. I couldn't agree more.
Well, what I hear you saying is that we need the freedom to create and enjoy and engage and have fun and to support each other. We need to support each other's fun ideas and listen to each other and build each other up. When our colleagues are getting excited about a unit, we need to be like, oh my gosh, tell me more. Can I help? Like, what can I do? And really put our positive energy into that instead of maybe our energy into, can you believe, and then insert school drama here. Because if there's one thing that will always exist in every campus in America, it's drama. And it's at the kid level, at the teacher level, at the admin level. And not, you know, some of it we have to acknowledge, but most of it, we won't even remember the names of those people in 5 years, you know?
Right. Focus on the positive and surround yourself with people of like minds, you know?
Yeah.
And then I have one last one I think is really important. So when I am feeling not supported, then I try to find another teacher who's not supported or who feels unsupported, and I try to over support them so that it changes my mind and my mindset. So the day I called Kim and encouraged her, it was because I was crashing. And I was like, well, then I can help. And then it changed me from like a helpful mindset. And I think she knew I was crashing, so that she was in the helpful mindset. And just that shift is like, I've got to hold my friend together. I've got to build her up. I've got it. And that's just pivotal. And then I had a couple other friends I was worried about, and they built me too. And so it was like, I reached out to help them. And then in the end, they really helped me more, I'm sure, than I ever did them, you know, but it made me feel better about who I was. And I think sometimes when you feel like you're not supported, the very best thing you can do is look around and find someone that you worry feels the same way and see if you can be there for them. And I think there's just something so beautiful in that, and it brings gratitude and healing. And Candace is really good at that.
It's the gift of giving, you know, the gift, you're focusing on somebody else, trying to support them and help them. Then you're not so much focused on what you're struggling with. And just like when you called me to come over there, you weren't in a good way. And I told you, oh, I don't know, Angie, I go, kind of having a hard day today, but we did it anyway. And we got together and like we said, had a great time, and the kids were engaged in learning, and it lifted both of our spirits and our attitudes.
And especially, I would say, if you're an older teacher, and by older, I don't mean age, I mean experience. If you've been in the classroom for 6+ years, you push the novelty envelope. I think it's totally justifiable for the first 3 or 4 years of teachers to be very afraid of classroom management and mixing and stuff like that. But if you've been around, if you made it past the 5-year mark, you're good. and try new things. Like, you know how to bring your class back. You're still here.
Yeah, you're a veteran after 5 years. And you're probably been on your campus. In my experience, you've been on your campus longest at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because of the shift that's happening now.
There's so much of a shift. Yeah. So if you're on the same campus for 5 years, then like you're the one that they go to. So support them.
17 years on the same campus.
That is rare.
So you're our OG leader.
Yeah.
So final thoughts. Well, let's end with what were our aha moments. Teachers don't feel supported by other teachers. We can change that by everybody answer when you're ready.
Gratitude. I think starting the day with what's here first. That was eye-opening to me. Sorry, I thought I was ready and then I got emotional, but I think just remembering that we are always going to have problems. It doesn't matter what happens. It's something else is going to happen. If it's not one thing, it'll be two. Like it's a thing. So, but if we always focus on those things, and I'm not saying to fake it and be happy all the time, because that's not real either, but to just be genuine and authentic and be grateful for the good things and work through the bad things. And I think find people like us and the FLAIR educators community, because you're not alone. I think that's what I want to end on, is there are millions of us and we feel alone, and we have to do something to fix that.
I like that. I think we need to remember to give our peers, our staff members, our colleagues grace, but don't forget to give it to yourself.
Find people who support you and surround yourself with them. It's okay to acknowledge the drama and the challenges and everything. Please don't ignore them because they're real. But find the people that support you and build you up, and build them up yourself as well.
Get out of your comfort zone and try novel lessons, things you haven't tried before.
Hopefully you had a new insight today in how we can support each other as teachers, because this education thing is really challenging. And my aha moment is how lucky I am that so many teachers stay, and that I'm just so appreciative of everyone who supports our channel. And I'm gonna get teary-eyed, but everyone who stays in really hard districts, working with really hard kids. You go in there and you give your heart and your best every single day, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful for you. And you may not hear this enough from your colleagues or your administrators, but no matter what state you're in or who you're working with, and I'm so grateful for my students. Like, I'm so grateful for the times when I get tired and burnt out and there's a little edge to my voice, and my students will say, Miss, hug, because we love you, and I teach 8th grade, so that's like pretty amazing, And I just think it's amazing how our students do want to support us, and my aha moment is remembering to give them the space, because that builds their character too. I hope you have an amazing night. Anyone want to do a send off, or should we just say goodbye?
Thank you so much for joining us. Please do like and subscribe, of course. Comment, let us know how you're doing. Tell us in the comments who your support person is. Who do you go to when you need that pick-me-up? And how do you find it? How do you find that push to continue on? Remember that we care. We teach. What?
We join FLAIR because we care. Or
We need to get that straight.
join us at FLAIR
Because we care, right? Yeah.
because we care, and you do too.
Yeah. And that's why you're here, because you're awesome.
So have a great afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're watching us. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.